Hello everyone, my name is Alex, and today we're going to be taking a look at Moss. Moss is a third-person adventure puzzler platformer game from Polyarc Games and was initially released as a PlayStation VR exclusive title, now available on the Oculus Quest with recently added free DLC content known as the Twilight Garden. Polyarc was kind enough to reach out and provide me with a code to do the review for this game. Thank you guys so much for that, especially because I have already purchased this game on PSVR, played it there, and loved it. So I was excited to see how it holds up on the Oculus Quest. I do want to mention right away that the DLC that was added to Moss was very well implemented. It features a series of storyline elements and challenges that are elegantly woven into a normal playthrough of the game. I initially thought that I was gonna just go to this new area, blow my load on it, and kind of that would be that. But you can't really access all of the parts of the DLC without doing a normal playthrough of Moss, which I thought was a refreshing way to go about doing it. If this was your first time playing Moss, you probably wouldn't know that that was something that was added after the initial release of the game. It's basically like an enhancement to the normal playthrough of Moss. Alright, so that being said, in Moss you control Quill, who is a small, mousy, cute little creature who inhabits a very fairy tale fantasy style world. And you view it all through the eyes of this mysterious, large, spectral figure who's seemingly there to aid Quill along on her perilous journey. This time around, the game took me 3 hours to complete, and that includes the additional DLC content. But bear in mind, I've played this game before, so if this is your first time playing, I would maybe expect it to take an extra hour or so, just depending on how long it takes you to figure out some of the puzzles and get through some of the areas. The core gameplay to me is very reminiscent of a Nintendo 64 era Zelda game. There's a sword fighting battle system, level-based puzzles, enemies to manipulate and overcome. Really does have that Zelda vibe about it. Moss is an approachable title, I would say easily digestible by somebody who has a somewhat of a grip on how to play regular video games. Maybe somebody who's brand new to VR would struggle to pick this one up just to learn the combat and the ins and outs of the way to move around in the environment. But if you're used to gaming or you've been a video gamer, you should pick this one up absolutely no problem. And you shouldn't have any problems figuring out the puzzles and getting through the levels. The sound effects here are really well done, just like I remember from the PSVR version. The voice actress that does all of Quill's voice actually does the voices of everything else in the game, and she narrates it very much like she's reading to you from a book, like your school teacher did back in the day, or mom did back in the day.
Quill stepped closer. "Where is my uncle? If you've hurt him..."
"Silence!"
Veda thundered back.
"It was Argus who summoned us here, and now I see why. Young one, I'm afraid the trees hum of attack. Your uncle's been taken to the castle of your ancestors."
Quill's knees buckled as Veda continued.
Which was very unique and a very cool perspective and something different that I hadn't quite seen in a game yet. Moss is very aesthetically pleasing. There's very grassy, green, lush fairy tale landscapes. The dungeons are dark and dungeony. The lighting effects on the quest were decent. Moss on the Quest definitely takes a hit graphically compared to the other versions, but not terribly so. A lot of the textures are really dumbed down for sure, and the worst of it being the water effects. You can see here I kind of had to test the waters, pun totally intended, and it did not work out well for poor little Quill here. Additionally, in this scene, when the raft is moving, it kind of broke the immersion for me. And this is really the only area of the game that I felt like the immersion was broken due to the lack of the graphical ability of the Oculus Quest. Moss is a seated gaming experience, which was for me a very welcome change, as this was my first time actually sitting down and playing a game with the Oculus Quest. Everything else has been standing up, active, lots of moving around. So this was a nice welcome change to be able to sit down, relax, and kind of experience a video game style VR experience. That being said, the room scale effect of the Oculus Quest had those moments when I did stand up to look around or to interact with everything, a lot more engaging and a lot more immersive than when I played it initially on the PSVR, where it lacks that real room scale feel. And while standing up works and looking around works, the Quest version does a better job of immersing you in that space. If you have other platform versions of Moss, I would probably play it there just because the graphical ability of a PC or the PSVR does enhance a lot of the textures and does make the world look a lot more beautiful. But I honestly enjoyed this playthrough on the Quest just as much as the PSVR version, if not more than the PSVR playthrough. In my opinion, this game is not worth buying twice. So if you don't already own this game, it's absolutely top notch. It's a great experience on the Quest. And while the game could still be a little bit longer of an experience, it's still one of what I would consider the upper echelon of VR experiences of this current generation. But that's all I'm gonna say about Moss. If you need to know more, there are lots of other reviews out there on awesome VR channels that you should already be subscribed to. If my channel's not already on that list, definitely add it now. And be sure to engage with any virtual reality content that you're coming across on YouTube or on Reddit or Facebook. And it's easy to do so by liking the video, by leaving a comment, asking a question, or engaging the content creator, sharing it with your friends, or just in general spreading the word of virtual reality. Be a part of the virtual reality community in this very exciting time for the industry, and let's push it into the mainstream together, and I will see you next time around. Thank you.